In 2012, two families left the city. They left most of their worldly possessions behind, along with the conveniences of modern American living. It's today that these two families have relocated themselves in the mountains of the American Ozarks to build for themselves a more sustainable and fulfilling lifestyle.
We are an American Homestead!
This week on An American Homestead, we talk all about our electricity generation. How do we make these videos and stay connected with our audience while still living off the grid? We take a look at how our aquaponics system is powered and show you our footage from shearing our sheep this past spring. Thanks for watching, and be sure to visit us online at anamericanhomestead.com.
We're building an outhouse up on top of the hill, and part of the roofing we need are sheet metal panels. We have this old abandoned chicken house here on the lower part of the property, so we salvage the sheet metal from the roofing. It's good durable material, and it saves us a lot of money in having to go out to one of the hardware stores to buy sheet metal.
So we have to go up there, not exactly the most stable environment. I would say it's about 50 years old.
Our house has no electricity. We do not have any power whatsoever coming into the house. That means that we can't plug anything in. We can't use our light switches. We have a manufactured home, but if you look around our house, you'll see that we have wall outlets, we have light switches. It came with an air conditioning and a heater and a hot water heater, all of the normal things that you would see in a house. And what we've done is taken some of those things out and built a pantry in its place. So if you walk around our house, you'll be tempted to turn on a light switch when you enter a room because the light switches are right there, but they don't work. What we use for lights are candles and lanterns. We get used to using daylight throughout the day. We keep all of our windows open, all of our curtains open all the time. What is it like living without electricity? Well, I would probably say the two things that I miss the most are refrigeration and hot water. Just being able to turn on your faucet and have the water be hot. We have a wood stove that we use in the winter that provides good heat for our house, and we just fuel that with wood that we get from our property. We don't have ceiling fans, we don't have air conditioning in the summer, so we open the windows and we get ready to sweat sometimes when it gets really, really hot in the summer.
Well, we have a manufactured home, and it's fully wired for electricity with light switches and plugs in the wall and everything like that, but we're not hooked up to the electricity, so none of those things work. When we moved from our house to come to the Ozarks, we had an electric stove, an electric oven, and an electric microwave. I don't have any of those now, but we have a wood stove for heat in the wintertime to heat the house, and it works very well. Even if it's 30 degrees outside, it's warm in our house.
For refrigeration, we will also keep some things in our 19th century well, and we put them in mason jars which can seal tight. After I bring my groceries home from town, I will take out my butter and my cheese and put those in mason jars that seal tight, and I can put them in a fish basket. I hang it from a rope on a nail and then put it down the well, and the water is very cold down there, and it keeps my cheese and butter. I've had some things that I've bought down there for 3 weeks, and they're completely fine. The first thing I have to do is make sure my jar is sealed tight, because you don't want to get any water in. The second thing is I wouldn't keep meat or leftovers down there. We don't keep leftovers around. We cook and we eat what we cook, or we eat it the next day. That's pretty much how we function.
The main reason we have solar is for our aquaponics system. We have a greenhouse that runs an aquaponics system, and that aquaponics system is all completely off-grid. We're generating all of our own power just to run that aquaponics system. We have 4 solar panels. Each one is 250 watts, equals 1,000 watts. Inside of our aquaponics system, we have 4 sets of pumps. Each set is made up of 2 pumps. One pump is 17 watts and the other pump is 35 watts, equaling 52 watts per set. So there's 4 sets of grow beds. Each set of grow beds run by 1 set of pumps. The reason we have it that way is because other pumps that we looked into for a higher grade pump was just too much wattage for our system to handle. We used a system where we combine the 2 pumps, a 17 watt pump at the top and a 35 watt pump at the bottom, to work in conjunction with each other to get the water up to the flood tank so that the flood tank can cycle and transfer the water over the grow beds. And so we found that this was a very economical way, energy speaking, to provide power for our system. 2 pumps, one 17 watt pump, one 35 watt pump, equaling 52 watts, and then plus a 35 watt air pump on the system to provide air to the tanks for the fish, equaling total about 240 some watts to power the entire system. So really that's barely enough energy generated by these solar panels to continue to run that system. What we're planning on doing in the long run is setting up a wind turbine to provide extra energy for the battery bank. So inside of our box, inside of our power box, we have a charge controller, we have an inverter, we have a series of breakers, and then we have a combiner box that allows us to combine our solar panels into our charge controller. This is a very easy setup. It's a very simple setup. When I first got into providing our own electricity, I was very intimidated by all of this. It was very challenging to learn something new and to learn something complicated. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I could probably electrocute and kill myself. But what I was trying to do was provide power for ourselves in an efficient manner, and all it took was a little bit of experimenting and finding out what worked for us. And you make some bad choices and you make some good choices along the way, but you learn. And we learned something new. We learned how to create our own energy with solar. What we learned is to hook up our own solar panels ourselves, which saved us a lot of money than hiring someone else to do it for us. And so while it was a challenge and while we made some mistakes along the way, we ended up learning a lot and we ended up accomplishing a lot. So right now the system is working very well for us and providing for our aquaponics system. The battery bank is 8 batteries. Each one is a 6-volt battery. The 6-volt batteries are wired in parallel and in series to configure a 24-volt system. So basically what we're running here is a 24-volt system on 8 6-volt batteries that power our aquaponics. So a lot of people are asking us, well, you say you're off-grid, but how is it you're making these videos? Where are you getting your electricity from? Well, again, we generate all of our electricity via solar panels that we've installed and hooked up ourselves. And the trailer you see behind me is a trailer that we've converted into an office. And so in that office, I usually run my laptop, I record videos and I edit videos for what you're seeing here today. And so that's where all the magic happens, really, inside that trailer. And the solar panels are what powers it all. So how do we stay connected? Well, we have a phone line. We have a phone line that provides DSL service. And so we wanted to stay off grid. We didn't want electricity. We didn't want to even have a phone line, but we didn't get cell service out here. So we wanted to find something else, a different way to stay connected. And this way actually worked out pretty well for us. We contacted the phone company, and their first concern was, well, you don't have any electricity where you're at. How are we going to hook up a phone line because it requires the ground? So we said we would provide the ground. If they would just come and hook up the phone line, we could power it and power the phone with our solar panels. The only requirement they asked of us is that we would sign up for DSL service, which was fine for us because we needed the data to be able to connect to the internet anyway to do what we're doing here. So they ran a phone line all the way up our mountain
and connected us to the internet. And so, yeah, we have a phone line here on the homestead that provides us data. We don't have any cell service, we don't have any electricity, but we do have that phone line that does keep us connected with you all. Once the phone line terminates up here at the office, we connect it to our router. It connects to a DSL modem, a wireless router, so we have wireless internet here on the homestead, and it's all powered with our solar panels. So each panel is 250 watts. That's 500 watts of energy that we use to provide electricity for this office. And that powers our laptop, cell phones, and our router. And so we hooked up the router to the solar panels, and now we have wireless internet here on the homestead. Inside the battery box, we have 4 AGM batteries. Each battery is 12 volts, and it's wired again in a 24-volt configuration. These are AGM batteries, low maintenance batteries. We like these. They were a little more expensive. Actually, they were a lot more expensive. But the whole point of it being low maintenance really appealed to us. Inside the box, again, we have a charge controller, we have an inverter, and we have a combiner box on the outside of the box that's been weatherproofed. And then we have a series of breakers that provide safety for the system. Overall, this has worked out well. We can manage our office here, work, stay connected with friends and family, make videos for you, make videos for the YouTube channel, and just overall stay connected to the world a little bit while still being disconnected from the world. We really enjoy that fact of being out here in the wilderness. My nearest neighbor's a mile away, and I live 20 miles really from the nearest gas station. And so we like being disconnected in that way. However, we still want to stay connected with you and friends and family. We want to see what's going on in the world. We want to be able to communicate with the people we know and love. And so this allows us to do that. But again, I'm really not connected to the grid in order to pay the man for the electricity. I can generate the electricity on my own, live on my own, and enjoy a certain amount of distance from the rest of the world.
In this spring, we sheared our sheep for the first time. For us, it was kind of a formidable task, but by the time we got to the last sheep, which was Solomon, we felt like we were professionals. This coming spring we'll do it again, and we're looking for a way to market our wool right now. We have wool from 5 sheep, so there's probably 20 pounds of wool that we would like to market at some point.